now we're set for Heat 2A. This is the reverse draw, so Jerry Hale and Team Steel gets the inside lane. Brian Reynolds, as the rookie, has to trail in Chaplin's Bellevue. Looking for the green flag. This heat also includes the Pennzoil Pit Stop, Miss Elam Plus, the Pico, and the Budweiser in a showdown of the winners of the first two heats. Green flag, and we have a race. Budweiser on the outside, Pico bouncing along in lane 5.
Stephen David anticipated that start just perfectly, staying his lane all the way through the turn and accelerating off the turn down the backstretch.
David, the number 3 qualifier in the Pennzoil Pit Stop. As we look from the Labatt Eye in the sky, we see he has the lead going into the backstretch, but now look for Budweiser and Pico on the outside to try to use their muscle in the straightaway and move up on Stephen David and the other boats to the inside of them.
Stephen David's got a beautiful lead now going down the backstretch, still maintaining that third lane all the way through the turn.
David coming around now, turn number 2, a little light and bouncy. Budweiser 2, where is Pico American Dream in the spray? Pico is upside down. Mark Evans is inside Pico, upside down. Red flag.
What's going through a driver's mind right now, if you go through that type of a blowover flip, is you're trying to get calm, cool, and collected. You don't want to undo your belts.
There's the hatch opening.
He's got the hatch opening, so that means that he's conscious, and he's trying to extract himself from the boat. First thing you do is you take the steering wheel off, get all the hoses and wires away from you. When all that's done, then you undo your belt. You can see his feet coming out of the bottom of the boat right now. He's trying to get himself out of the boat. Certainly
has to be a good sign. A couple of weeks ago when Dave Villwalk went upside down in the Budweiser, there was no sign of him being able to get out, but Evans indeed is moving his feet, anticipating the rescue boat. Here he comes right out.
The rescue worker helped him, obviously, and boy, I'll tell you what, he's glad to see him.
You can see that, all right. Those rescue workers taking no time at all to get there, but Mark almost beat them out. Unbelievable. Mark Evans is known as a guy with a great sense of humor. Look at this. Upside down, less than a minute ago, and here he is saying to the crowd, hey, I'm fine. The two Pico lookalikes, Team Steel, Graham Trucking on the inside for the restart of Heat 2A. Budweiser is on the outside. Jimmy King and Miss Elam Plus and Stephen David and Pennzoil Pit Stop next to him as we go to the green flag and head for the first turn. Stephen David, Jimmy King pretty close together, and Budweiser now coming into the picture. Elam has gone on top of the Budweiser. We saw part of the Budweiser come, and they're drifting toward boats there.
Heading right for the log boom, piggyback style.
Boy, it looks like they've got it stopped. And they do. Elam Plus with Jimmy King in the cockpit, still on top of the Miss Budweiser with Mark Webber inside, and the crowd is cheering. I can't tell from here how close they are, but it looks like they're awfully close to all the people on those pleasure boats. A collision here in the restart of 2A between Jimmy King. Here comes Jimmy King now out of the cockpit. Red flag, of course, for the second time on Heat 2A.
We got the rescue workers there swimming over to the boat. Jimmy King is already out, throwing his gloves. He's looking in at the cockpit of the Budweiser, trying to see if he can see Mark Webber inside.
You want to hope at this point that Mark is in touch with the crew by radio. Elam Plus sitting right on top of the cockpit.
I have never seen anything like that in all the years that I've been racing. That's the first time I've seen a piggyback ride from two Unlimited.
The major concern right now is for the health and safety of Mark Webber. There he is, coming out of the cockpit and on his own 2 feet. A little assistance into the rescue boat, and Jimmy King going in there with him on the right in the blue driving suit.
Jimmy King's over there talking to Mark Webber. They're both on the same rescue boat. I'm sure there's concern for both of them.
Well, they're both up. Let's take a look at it again from the Labatt Eye in the sky. Bud coming in, and Jimmy King in the Elam Plus veering, it appears, a little bit out.
Well, what happened there is he hit some rough water, lost the skid fin grip. The boat got airborne and just parked itself right on top of the Miss Budweiser. You couldn't have done that if you'd tried to.
Absolutely incredible. Jimmy King has no control, obviously. Webber's got to try to steer it away from those pleasure boats that they are heading toward here in slow motion on our replay.
Heading right for the log boom. Hard left rudder is what he's giving it now.
There are even people in the water there.
Looks like he's going to miss him. Parks it right next to the yellow rubber raft.
A tremendous feat there by Mark Webber. Don't know if he could even see anything at that point. Now here it is again in slow motion from the turn 1 camera.
You can see it kicks the cowling off of the Budweiser when it leaps up on top of it, and now it's stuck there. The rudder, the propeller are stuck just behind the motor of the Budweiser. It's not going to get off. It's going to just ride it out till the end.
Just imagine not many years ago when there were no canopies on these boats. Now we're going to take a look at it one more time from Mark Webber's vantage point, real time.
And parked right there. What an eerie sight. I know from a driver's point of view, I wouldn't want to see that.
Water all over the front of the boat, can't see a thing, and he's just pulling hard on the wheel, going to the left, knowing those boats are ahead, I guess. And there they are once again in the rescue boat. Mark up, apparently okay. Jimmy King seated, apparently okay too. What do you say, one driver to the other there? Gee, I'm sorry. I guess I'm glad you're okay. Welcome back to Seattle. We're about to take try number 3 at Heat 2A with just 4 boats left in the starting lineup. Team Steel and Graham Trucking, the 2 Leland boats, still on the inside. Pennzoil pit stop with Steve David on the outside, and Brian Reynolds, the rookie, still trailing in Chaplin's. Here's the green flag. Let's see if we can get through this one. In each of the first 2 tries, Stephen David had jumped out to the lead, and here he goes again in the Pennzoil pit stop. He's driving a boat unlike any other here.
It's a 2-wing hull, and this was an attempt by the designers to create a blowover-proof boat. That didn't happen, but what it does do is it reduces the amount of lift under the hull and gives them a little bit better window of opportunity to run that boat.
This boat qualified 3rd here in Seattle, so would be favored, you would think, and he gets a bit light going around the turn.
This boat takes a lot of horsepower to push through the water, but with the fuel restrictions, it's a little bit out of its element.
I mentioned it qualified 3rd. It did 148 miles an hour. That's 4 miles an hour less than the Budweiser and the close call phone card, the top 2 qualifying boats. 138 miles an hour on that last lap by the Zodiac lap timer, and Stephen David seems to have this one under control.
Notice the water conditions are a lot better in this particular heat, but we only have a 4-boat heat. All the other heats were 7-boat heats.
Fewer boats stirring up the water, better conditions. Here is Jerry Hale running 2nd in Team Steel. Jerry's one of 3 rookies racing here in Seattle this year. We also have 1 driver coming back to driving.
Jerry Hopp, one of the veteran drivers on the circuit, is back this year, a rookie to this particular boat. Jerry Hale, driving Team Steel, is from Southern California, lots of experience in the limited inboard category, and also Brian Reynolds, one of the hot shoes from the Northwest.
And speaking of Brian Reynolds, he has just been penalized a lap for encroachment.
Brian Reynolds a little bit aggressive. Of course, he's trying to impress his owner and his sponsor, and he's always been known to be a very aggressive driver here in the Northwest, and he's just carrying on the tradition here.
Moving up from the smaller boats to his first ride in the Unlimiteds, and some might say a bit of a rookie mistake. He'll have to go around an extra time, so he's not in fact leading the boats he appears to be leading. But here is the boat in front. Pennzoil pit stop, Steve David heading for the checkered flag, and at last we will complete Heat 2A here in Seattle.